This house isn't haunted, it's hunting him. The movie house throws a troubled writer into a living nightmare of monsters, guilt, and shifting realities. Let's get into it. An isolated, aging house sits quietly as eerie music hums in the background, immediately setting an unsettling tone. A careless grocery delivery boy rides up on his moped, accidentally clipping the fence before carrying a bag of groceries inside. Calling out to Mrs. Elizabeth Hooper, he casually announces that he'll collect payment next week. As he moves through the house, he hears a strange noise coming from upstairs. Uneasy but curious, he climbs the stairs. A dull thud echoes from somewhere nearby. He follows the sound into another room and freezes when he discovers Mrs. Hooper hanging lifelessly, having taken her own life. At her funeral, the priest delivers a solemn service as mourners quietly gather. One man insists to Roger Cobb, Elizabeth's nephew, that his aunt was not insane, even pointing to his own wife as someone truly unwell, unlike Elizabeth. Roger listens, disturbed but unsure what to believe. Not long after, Roger is seen at a bookstore signing copies of his popular horror novels. His fans are an eccentric mix of oddballs and superfans. A punk, a chatty spinster more interested in Roger's personal life than his work, a disappointed admirer upset that Roger plans to write a Vietnam War book instead of another horror story. His publicist and friend Frank urges him to stick to horror, reminding him that it's what sells. But Roger is determined. He needs to finally write the Vietnam book and confront his past. Alone at home later, Roger prepares a frozen dinner but barely pays attention, placing it in the microwave without removing the packaging. Sitting before a blank page, he can't bring himself to write. He tries calling an investigator, but there's no new information about his missing son, Jimmy. Sandy calls him from a phone booth, devastated after losing an award nomination. Roger pretends he's at a party, hiding his loneliness. He briefly comforts her and mentions he's writing again, which lifts her spirits. After hanging up, Sandy forces a smile for the paparazzi despite her sadness. That night, Roger is plagued by nightmares. He dreams he's alone in a graveyard near a marked cross. When a decayed arm suddenly bursts from the ground, he wakes in terror. Shortly after, Roger receives word that he has inherited Aunt Elizabeth's house. Despite Sandy's concern and warnings, Roger packs his belongings and returns to the property. A fast-talking real estate agent, Chet Parker, shows him around, already eyeing the house's contents for auction. As Roger explores the property, memories flood back. He recalls pruning bushes while young Jimmy played nearby with toy cars. In a horrifying instant, Jimmy vanished without a trace. Roger remembers searching desperately as Sandy joined him. He recalls seeing a boy splashing in the swimming pool and diving in after him, only to find nothing there. These haunting memories linger as Parker continues chatting obliviously. They pause before a strange painting depicting an elderly woman entering a glowing doorway. Roger feels it's an omen, though Parker laughs it off. More memories surface, police investigations going nowhere, Elizabeth claiming the house took Jimmy, Sandy breaking down in tears, and officers unable to offer answers. Now alone in the house again, Roger hears noises upstairs. He investigates and finds himself reliving Elizabeth's suicide as if it's happening again. Roger stares at a box of pills but resists taking them. The next morning, a dog scatters Roger's trash outside. He notices his attractive neighbor Tanya jogging past. Another neighbor, Harold Gorton, approaches, friendly, awkward, and a fan of Roger's books. Harold invites him for beers, but Roger brushes him off. That night, Roger finally begins writing, slipping into memories of Vietnam. He recalls his lieutenant waking him, Big Ben expressing exhaustion with the war, and soldiers preparing for an ambush. Chaos erupts as a grenade lands among them. Big Ben stands his ground, firing back, seemingly killed in action. It becomes clear Roger isn't just remembering, he's finally writing the book he's avoided for years. Suddenly, Roger sees Jimmy's smiling face. He rushes upstairs but finds nothing. Shaken, he nearly convinces himself he's losing his mind. At midnight, the grandfather clock strikes. As Roger reopens Jimmy's closet, this time a hideous creature lunges out. Roger barely fights it off and slams the door shut. Determined, Roger prepares for war. He rigs traps, cameras, and weapons throughout the house, dressing like a soldier once more. He returns at midnight, but nothing appears. Harold startles him with a late-night visit, offering snacks. Roger explains he believes the house is haunted and plans to prove it. Harold dismisses it as stress, divorce, and grief. Even when Roger shows claw marks on his body, Harold leaves the house after taking Roger's phone book, later telling Sandy that he believes Roger may be losing his grip on reality. Sandy explains that she has to be on set early the next morning at 6:30 a.m. Before leaving, she gives Harold her daytime phone number and then tries to call Roger herself, but he doesn't answer. Roger is too busy writing, lost in a memory from Vietnam involving Fitzsimmons, Scott, and another soldier as they smoke during a brief break. Once they resume marching, attempting to avoid the enemy, they realize someone is trailing them. As he writes this moment, Roger feels compelled to stop. A small toy car rolling across the floor draws his attention, followed by the mounted swordfish on the wall, whose eye suddenly begins to move. The swordfish lunges at him, triggering chaos. He manages to shoot the swordfish, yet its eyes continue darting around the room. He reaches for another pill but doesn't have time. Tools slam against the door and assault him. When Roger steps into the hallway, Sandy suddenly appears. A bullet drops to the floor, and as Sandy bends to pick it up, she tells Roger she's been deeply worried about him. In that moment, a monstrous figure emerges. Roger fires his shotgun and kills it, only to realize in horror that it was Sandy all along, unseen by Harold next door. Harold phones the police, believing Roger attempted suicide. Roger retrieves Sandy's body and hides it beneath the stairs. When the police arrive, Roger claims the gun discharged accidentally, insisting he didn't know it was loaded. One officer asks to use the bathroom while Roger nervously offers coffee. His anxiety is obvious to everyone. Harold lets himself inside for coffee as well and notices 2 additional shotgun shells on the floor. A police officer questions Roger about them. Later, once alone, Roger goes to check on Sandy's body, but it's gone. Following the sound of doors slamming shut, he suddenly encounters the monster again, now appearing as a grotesque witch wielding a shotgun. The creature tells Roger he'll never find Jimmy because the boy is dead. The monster tries to shoot him, but the gun fails. Roger lures the creature back to the room where the animated tools attack and destroy it. He digs holes in the garden, burying the head and body separately. Tanya suddenly appears, wearing a bathing suit and casually swimming in Roger's pool, just as she used to when Aunt Elizabeth was alive. She chats with Roger and asks what he's doing and what he's burying. Roger tries to act casual, pretending nothing is unusual. Though she's attractive, she's oblivious enough not to suspect anything strange. Roger continues digging, pausing to stare at an old photograph of a once happy family. Harold's dog digs up the monster's hand and runs off with it. Tanya calls out to Roger and returns with her son Robert, a sweet but mischievous boy. The monster's severed hand has latched onto Robert's sweater. Robert runs until Roger catches him. To free the boy, Roger bites the hand himself, then flushes it down the toilet. Tanya, in a rush, leaves Robert behind with a bag of clothes, toys, and belongings. When Robert begins crying, Roger picks him up and sets him in front of the television before returning to his writing. Jungle animal sounds fill the air, possibly signaling enemy movement. Big Ben steps outside to investigate, standing tall as always. Panicked, Roger mistakenly shoots and kills him. Friendly fire. Roger rushes back to find Robert, but the boy is gone. Three small monster creatures have abducted Robert and are dragging him up the chimney. Roger grabs hold of Robert's legs until the creatures finally let go. Roger places Robert in the bathtub, and they play together with sponges. When Tanya returns, she finds Robert laughing and happy, having clearly enjoyed himself. Harold shows up again, this time bringing beer. Roger persuades him to help fight whatever is happening in the house. Harold is visibly terrified. At midnight, Harold prepares to shoot, but Roger opens the door instead. A massive, horrifying monster appears. Harold freezes in fear, unable to act. Roger is dragged away by the creature, his foot tangled in a rope, disappearing into the darkness of the closet. Suddenly, Roger finds himself back in Vietnam, moments before Big Ben's death. Ben begs Roger not to leave him wounded in the jungle. Roger reassures him and chooses not to kill him. As Roger walks away, Viet Cong soldiers emerge and capture Big Ben. Alive and screaming, Ben vows revenge as he's dragged off. Roger flees through gunfire, running toward the light. He leaps out and lands in front of a sleeping, useless Harold, who wakes suddenly and strikes Roger in the head. Roger puts Harold to bed and returns to examine one of Elizabeth's paintings. Hidden beneath a filthy cloth, he sees Jimmy reflected in a mirror, screaming for Elizabeth not to enter the glowing doorway. Roger recognizes the mirror as his medicine cabinet. He opens it, finding only pills inside, then smashes the glass with a stool. Behind it is a black void, leading to another dimension. A tentacle lashes out and grabs him. Roger breaks free and slashes at the creature with a knife before entering the dark shaft with a flashlight. A dinosaur skeleton attacks him, knocking him into a vast body of water. Remarkably, his flashlight still works. He swims downward, searching desperately for Jimmy. On shore, Roger finds Jimmy locked in a cage. Jimmy says he wants to go home and assures Roger he'll return. Roger rescues him, and they emerge through the swimming pool. As they try to leave the house, the skeletal remains of Big Ben appear. Ben reveals that the Viet Cong tortured him for weeks before killing him, and that now he wants revenge. Roger sends Jimmy to get help as Ben enters the house. Ben runs out of ammunition and discards his shotgun while Roger flees to the roof, then re-enters the house. Roger tears off one of Big Ben's arms, but Ben reattaches it. The house now teeters on the edge of a cliff. Roger slips and dangles over the edge, clinging desperately. Using his belt, he manages to hurl Big Ben over the cliff. Big Ben reappears, holding Jimmy by his shirt. He threatens Roger, demanding he kill himself or Jimmy will die. When Big Ben stabs Roger, it has no effect. Roger is no longer afraid. He pulls Jimmy away, steals one of Ben's grenades, and shoves it into Ben's exposed ribcage. The explosion destroys Big Ben and sets the house ablaze. Outside, Harold watches in shock as the house burns. A taxi arrives and Sandy steps out, worried and searching. Roger emerges carrying Jimmy, who runs straight into Sandy's arms. This house proves that sometimes the scariest monsters aren't ghosts. They're the ones hiding in your past. If you enjoyed the recap, hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.